I do. I'm on Extra. It's Billy Spakeman here, and it's our third programme with the gents from AA. So I'm just going to hand you over to them, and then they can take it for the hour. So over to you then, David.
Thanks, Billy. And can we just start by saying a big thanks to everybody at Black Country Extra for giving us this opportunity to come along here and help us raise the awareness of AA. It really is much appreciated. Going to be introducing one of our members shortly who's going to share their story with us. But before I do that, I'd like to ask Dec to read the preamble, which is something we use at the start of every meeting, which very simply tells you what AA is, what it does, and probably what it doesn't do. So, Dec.
Thanks, Dave. I'm Dec. I'm an alcoholic, and this is the AA preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
Thanks, Dec. That's great. And could we ask our guests to introduce themselves this morning, please?
Hi, I'm Andy. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Andy.
Hi,
Welcome, and thanks for coming along today to share your experience, strength and hope with us. Just to start off, can you give us a bit of idea about your background, family and the early days before you got to where you are now?
Yeah, I'm Andy. I'm an alcoholic. Background. I'm the youngest of four. I'm 35 years of age. I'm now married with 2 children. I suppose started drinking. When I was younger, in my younger days, I used to go out down the park with the kids from school, and we used to tend to drink quite a lot down there. And there was always me with a bottle of 2020, and I'd always end up taking it too far. I'd end up fighting. I would always be the one that was there, always the one that would have the drink, always the one that was taking it to the party, the centre of attention. And I always had to try and fit in, and that's just kind of person that I was. I loved it. I loved the feel. I loved the effect of the drink that it gave me. It made me feel free. It made me feel, like I was on top of the world, to be honest. I just couldn't get enough of it, and that was at a young age of 16.
Wow.
And then drugs came in as well. I started taking resin and weed. I was kicked out of school for using in lunchtime, smoking weed on a bridge. I got caught for that, but that still didn't stop me. I carried on. I always had to try and fit in everywhere I went. I always had to be Andy, all about Andy. I did eventually when I met Rachel at 17. I managed to come away from it for a bit from the drugs. And she works as a waitress in a pub called the Plough, Far Forest, and I used to go and sit in there and wait for her every night when she'd finish work, and I'd sit there and I'd have 4 or 5 pints every night, and I just used to love it. I used to love the fact that I'd be waiting for her, and I'd have a few drinks every night, and it was great, and I never thought nothing of it, and I'd do that every night. I suppose that's more or less where it started for me, the drinking, where the taste of of enjoying just sitting there having a pint as well.
Dave, can I jump in?
Yeah, sure.
How did that impact on your family? Because you got brothers and sisters presumably, and your mum and dad. Did they know what was going on, or did you keep it from them? And
They just assumed I was just up there meeting my girlfriend, and everybody thought it was fine, that the drinking was fine, I suppose because my friend owned a pub as well, we could get away with drinking, I was very aggressive person at a young age. I was always in trouble, always fighting. I fell out with my dad at the age of 17. when I was with my wife one night over him playing his music too loud, and I'd probably been drinking, no doubt, the night before or whatever. So I left home. I left home at the age of 17 and moved in with my girlfriend up at Far Forest. I never got on with my dad. We never saw eye to eye. My dad was a big drinker. He used to be quite a heavy drinker in my younger days. So I suppose I sort of distanced myself from my family really, just because of the drinking and the using, and because I was with Rach, and I just wanted to be, with Rach I felt safe, as a person. I suppose I used to start going out as well with the lads on a weekend and drinking, and I'd always drink to excess. It'd always be to excess, till 4 or 5 in the morning, along with using cocaine. I was always getting in trouble, into fights, getting locked up by the police. That was always a big part of it,
And in a way, was that? Did you feel in a way that was great because it brought more attention to you?
I felt like I was the man. To be honest.
It was like I'm in jail, sort of thing.
Yeah. I thought I was great. I thought, everyone thinks, Andy's a big man. That's how it used to be. Everyone used to know me. If I walked into a pub or anywhere, everybody would know Andy. And I felt like I had respect for that, for the way I was. And I suppose. Looking back at it now, I realise that it was just all part of the drinking, all the behaviours of my drinking, and then I'll jump on to when I got married. I got married at the age of 27, and then we got married in Vegas, and it was lovely do. All that was just fueled just constantly by drinking. Everything was just one big blur really to me. The drinking and the using, and there was other women involved and stuff like that, and I was cheating on my wife and stuff like that, and it just become a big problem. And then obviously we'd have once we got married and we had the children and stuff like that, the drinking and the using the drugs just got worse. We moved on. We bought a big house that needed a lot of work doing on it and stuff like that. And I just started to shut myself away, and I was using the cocaine and the drink as like an energy boost, and I was running on like minimal of some nights no sleep. I could go for 2 weeks without sleep, just by using. I'd run myself down from 15 stone to 11 stone in weight. I looked like a skeleton before myself, and I couldn't see it. Everybody else could see it around me, but I couldn't see it. But if anybody tried to question me on it, I would be at them. I'd be down their throat, trying to, I suppose, make it sound as if it's okay. I'm only having a couple of cans or whatever.
And did you get, when you first started going with your girlfriend, did she realise at that time? Or
a lot of people used to say, Andy, you drink too much. I think you've got a problem. She used to always say, because my wife's not a big drinker at all. She doesn't drink really. A lot of people knew that I had a problem. And it's when you notice people starting to distance themselves from you as well. People moving away from me. I suppose like my brother, for instance, we stopped talking because I was too much. I was causing problems with the family. I was aggressive towards his wife at parties. I suppose to my brother-in-law as well, the same. I was aggressive towards him. If ever he tried to say, Andy, you need to calm down, you need to stop. And I didn't see I was doing anything wrong. I always thought it was everybody else who had the problem. Yeah. It's not Andy with the problem. And it's just progressing. This illness in me is just progressing as I'm going on. It's getting worse and worse and worse, and I can't see this. And then the self-isolation kicks in. I'm scared to go out to even for a meal with the family because I've already had a drink and I've already had a drug. I'm too scared to socialise around people. The paranoia is kicking in. I was just an absolute wreck. An absolute wreck.
Did you ever try to stop yourself, Andy? Did you ever think at one stage, blimey, everybody's telling me I'm drinking too much and I need to control this? Did you ever try to control it yourself?
I used to say every time that I used it or had a drink, I used to always say, I'm not going to do it tomorrow. Yeah. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. This is going to be my last go.
And how did that work?
Yeah, never. I'd have a sleep. I'd have a lie-in or whatever, say till about 11 o'clock, and I'd probably say I'd wake up, and then within that first half an hour, it'd be in my head going, Andy, you need to have a drink. So I'd go to the shop, I'd go and buy a load of cans, or a bottle or something, and then followed by the drug dealer as well. To get the cocaine, and that was my everyday. I started like buying more drugs and selling them to be able to fund my habits and stuff like that. Because towards the end I was spending £1,000 a day on
Really?
not a day, so a week on drinking alcohol, drugs and alcohol, £1,000 a week, and then that's where it starts to cost to the effect. Whereas my wife couldn't afford to pay bills. She's having to borrow money off her mum or off my mum and dad, and stuff like that. Or I'd phone my mum up and say, Mum, I can't afford to pay this bill, I've got no money. And I'd say, how much? She'd say, how much is it? I'd be like, 500 quid. So she would transfer me 500 quid, and that 500 quid would automatically go straight onto drugs. And that's where I was at with it. Nothing could stop me. It was all about getting what I wanted. I had to have that drink, I had to have that drug, and it's just the madness of it all. The insanity of wanting to have that drink and that drug every day. I was putting my kids to, because I've got two beautiful kids. I've got a little boy, Matthew, who is 6 now, and I've got a little girl, Isla, who is 7 now. And I wasn't spending any time with them. I was taking stuff away from them as well. I was depriving them of holidays, of normal family life living, of after school clubs. Wife couldn't afford to put me in after school clubs.
Were you working, Andy?
I was working. I was a dry liner at this time, and towards the end of my working, because I couldn't. All I would think about when I got to work was getting back and having a drink, or before I even got back, I'd leave site. I'd go and buy some beers, crack that can open, and that feeling when I'd have a drink was just I can't really explain it, but it just sort of blanked everything out. The stress of life, of normal. I couldn't handle life on life terms.
No. So did they suspect it?
They were suspecting it. Yes, towards the end, they were suspecting it. What I was doing, they knew that I was. They knew what I was doing.
I would have thought that'd have been quite difficult to hide. That's what you've described, really. So.
I mean, the only reason I say, I've told Dave about my daughter, and then it wasn't until after that we sussed out that she would always have Mondays off.
Yeah.
And, it was like 2 years down the line, and I was thinking, well, why is she always... And I'd say, Gemma, you shouldn't have Mondays off. You're getting into a pattern. And the pattern was that she was hiding that she was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And things like that. And you just thought, well, how did you disguise it so well, really, with your mates and stuff?
Yeah, well, I suppose I used to be very, very sneaky, because with the coke, you go into the toilet with that sort of thing, and you can hide that. But with the drinking, literally, my cans would be everywhere. But saying that though, it's only recently that I've cleared my loft space out. And there was hundreds of cans up there.
Really?
Yeah, hundreds of cans up in the loft.
So you go in the loft.
Yeah, so I used to go in the loft because we were doing an extension on the house. So I used to pretend, I've got to go and run some electrics or something up there or whatever, and I'd be up there rattling around, drinking, just sat on my own, the madness of it, sitting on your own, drinking, the loneliness of it all.
Yeah.
So all your mates that your drinking mates, they weren't drinking at the same level or using at the same level as you?
No, I did have one friend at the time that used to come round, but he used to come round and just take my drinks and my drugs. Really, that's all he was coming round for. So then, and he was causing more problems for me because I was getting caught out even more. Yeah. So I got rid of him as well.
So you didn't. I asked the question about did you ever try and stop? You didn't really want to stop.
I didn't want to stop, Dave. No. I enjoyed it. I love the effect.
Yeah.
I love the effect of the drink and of the drug. It was, like you say, it was the first thing that I thought about when I woke up every morning. I wanted to do. It seemed to give me energy to be able to do the stuff that I needed to do. I felt like it used to just get me through the day to do the jobs that I wanted to do. But whereas really it was having a massive knock-on effect. I was running my body down mentally. I was tired in the end. I was exhausted. I was absolutely physically exhausted. I tried to. The first time I tried to give up, I came into AA. My dad brought me into AA, and I came to the Wolverley meeting, and it was great. I listened and I related, and I felt good. And I managed to get to 30 days first time without touching a drink or a drug. And then some reason after that, I think I started comparing myself to other people, and I didn't feel like I felt like I fitted in. So I ended up using again, drinking again, picking up I actually walked out of the meeting and went and got some drinks from the shop down the road, and then obviously followed by some drugs again.
Taking you back from there, though, what made you get to AA in the first place? So you said you were out of control. Yeah. You couldn't do it yourself. What got you to AA?
My wife and my dad, really. My wife and my mum and dad. They just knew I had a massive problem.
Yeah.
Because of the episode that I had one night was I'd been out on a work stew, and before I'd been to the work stew, I'd already drank a bottle of wine and 4 cans of Stella. And this is before it started at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then when I got to the work stew, I was drinking like triple gins. It wouldn't be a single; it'd have to be a triple. And I was just consuming them like no tomorrow. And when I got after that night had finished, because I didn't want it to end, I wanted to carry on drinking. I got back home, and my mum and dad were looking after the kids. And I was like, "Come on, Dad, do you fancy having a drink with your son?" And he was like, "No, I think you've had enough." They obviously saw it in me that I'd had enough. But me being me, I got quite aggressive. I haven't had enough. I haven't drank enough. I want to have a drink with my dad. You don't want to have a drink with me. And I ended up getting really, really aggressive with him. I grabbed a knife out of the kitchen drawer and started hacking at the Christmas tree. Just went into a mad anger moment. Yeah, blackout if you call it, I suppose. I don't remember it happening. This is what they told me. And then I tried to grab the drink to go outside with it. My mum grabbed it off me and chucked it all away, bar one bottle, and I managed to run off, jump over the back fence, and go and sit in somebody else's garden, carry on drinking and using drugs. And that was until something just cleared. And I decided to come out of the garden, walk up the road, and the police were sat outside the van with police dogs and whatever and everything like that. Supposedly I've had helicopters after me because they thought I'd gone off with a knife, which I hadn't. I chucked that. But yeah, and then then I got obviously arrested, had to have a night in a cell, and then that's when they said, right, you've got a problem with drink and drugs. You need to get yourself some help. So that's when I tried AA.
Yeah. So was AA the first thing you tried, or was there anything else, any other sort of drink services that you might have tried before that? Or
no, AA was the first thing I came into.
Right.
That was the first thing. So, and then after that, obviously, I couldn't handle AA for the 30 days. I ended up going back out there, and then everything just got dramatically worse. Life just got worse. I left my wife. I ended up being with another woman. Just so I could get away, so I could carry on drinking, because they were all picking on me for drinking. That's how I thought. I thought they were all against me. They all want to stop me doing what I'm doing. I'll go and start another life. So that's exactly what I tried to do. I tried to start another life, and obviously it didn't work. It got worse. The drinking got worse. The drugs got worse, and so then eventually I found rehab. My dad decided to grab me, stick me to one side to put me into rehab. But that was only because I tried to take an attempt on my life. I put a cable tie around my neck, double cable tie, and I hadn't phoned anybody or told anybody. But somewhere out of the blue, my brother decided to pop round at 6 o'clock in the morning after a major fueled night of drinking drugs, and he managed to break in the back, and he managed to get the cable ties off my neck while I was passed out blue on the floor. So then that's when they said, right, Andy, you're going to rehab. So they got me together. I went and stayed at my mum's for a bit, and they put me into rehab, and I had 30 days in there, and then when I came out, I just jumped straight back into the programme of AA.
So at rehab, they introduced you to AA there. Did you do AA meetings with the rehab?
They did, yeah. They got me back onto the Zoom meetings, because at the time it was the coronavirus.
Of course,
it was only Zoom meetings, so yeah.
If I take you back to when you first came in, because I remember you coming into Wolverley then, why didn't it work for you then?
I don't think I was ready. I don't think I'd caused enough pain and enough trauma. Yeah. That's what I felt. I forgot about everything that I'd done before. And for some reason, I just seemed to blank it all out. And I just had an urge just to go on, just one more will be okay. I could just pick up again, and I could just try some normal drinking. But that normal drinking didn't stay for normal drinking. It escalated within a week to drinking every day, to
Yeah.
using every day, and it got 10 times worse. It just got so bad that the attempts. I suppose the attempts on my life. I was manipulating my wife. The scenarios like waking my wife up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, begging her for a bank card, to go and get drink and drugs from the shop. I'd say I'd run out of fags. I need to go and get a pack of fags. I hadn't. I just wanted to take the car, go and draw a load of money out. Yeah. And I was stealing off my wife. It's quite
insidious.
I think I said today with Gemma, her granddad would, the sunshine out her backside, so she would go down, and get some money, then call in the co-op, and I'd phone him and I'd say, Arthur, she's buying 2 bottles of vodka, and he'd go, Gemma wouldn't do that to me. And I'd go, but Arthur, she will do it to you. And he couldn't understand that, and so I totally understand where you just think...
Yeah. But my wife would break down. She'd cry herself to sleep at night, begging me to get into bed with her. And I couldn't. I physically, because I knew I wouldn't be able to lie next to her. Because I'd be thinking about, I want to go in the garage and grab a drink, or I want to go in the garage and use, or whatever. And it was always about what I wanted to do. It was always about me. I was never thinking about Rach or the kids, or my family. It was just always about Andy.
Yeah, very selfish disease, isn't it?
Very selfish. Yeah. But like you say, today's life is different today.
Billy, can we go to break to a
record?
Song,
of course you can.
And then we'll move on to that.
Fascinated,
okay. Okay.
So we've got. Let's have a look. We've got Benny King first. So where's this from then?
Benny King. This is one of my wedding songs.
Oh,
part of my growing up, I suppose, my wife and stuff. So it just reminds me of my marriage and
Fantastic. We're going to play this. Actually, a bit of information about this. There's a girl, Linda Middleton, does the gospel show from Russell's Hall Hospital, and she just dropped it out one of the shows. She says, I toured with Benny King when I was younger, and you think, hang on a minute, and then you toured with Benny, and says, oh yeah, we did a big tour. I was in this band, I don't know what it was called, and we just toured with him, and you just think, fancy being able to do that. Great.
Right.
Anyway, here's the first track. It's Benny King.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. stand by me? Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand now? Oh, stand by me. When all
Black Country Extra.
Black Country Extra, we're with AA and over to David.
Thanks, Billy, and hey, well done for that, Andy. Nice selection of songs. That my era. That I can relate to that. So you told us that you went into rehab and you came out and came into AA, which at the time all the meetings were closed because we were at the start of the pandemic. So you started on the Zoom meetings. You're a Zoom baby, huh?
Yeah, a Zoom baby.
How did that work for you?
Yeah, it was good, to be fair, Dave, actually, because obviously I had the comforts of my own home, so it meant that I couldn't go out anywhere. To start with, I needed to start learn how to live a new life, because I had to know how to apply change to my life. And when I came out of rehab, I had to go. I went to Newquay with the wife for 2 weeks, and we had 2 weeks down there. So it was great being able to get onto a meeting while I'm away down there, because they didn't want me to get back into work straight away. They wanted me to just take my time, and get to know my new self, without using and drinking. So Zoom worked absolutely fantastic for me. There was a meeting I could get on any time, anywhere. So I was doing one every day. When I came out, I did the 90 metres, 90 days, and that's
which is what I recommended. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did, and it got me used to how to to be able to talk in the meeting, to share how I was feeling, or if I was having a good day or a bad day, or if I was thinking about drinking, and it really built my confidence up, to speak to other people as well, which it was great. It was great for that.
So what got you? What was the difference then between the first time when you came in and didn't get it? I know you had rehab, which I guess is a bit of a kickstart, and not everybody has the benefit of that. But
rehab was great. It was great just to get the rest, because I needed a rest. I needed a rest from drinking drugs. It was great for that. But I'd realised that I was so from all the using and drinking, my body was so tired, and I started to wake up and realise all the pain that I was causing to everybody around me, and also to myself. I was sick and tired of feeling the way I felt, and it was I was starting to get my feelings back. And they say it's a good thing you get your feelings back, and also it's a bad thing your emotions. Good thing that you get your emotions back, and it's also a bad thing that you get your emotions back. And I've heard you say that many a times, Dave. And I was starting to get my emotions back, and stuff. And my wife kept me going through rehab, even though I didn't know whether or not if she would have me back or not. But I just knew in the back of my head, in my heart, that I could get myself back to Andy again, to have my life back, and that's all I wanted. I wanted my life. I didn't want to live like that person anymore, that with the illness inside me. So I realised that I needed something just to keep it under control, because this program, it is one day at a time, and that's how I work it today, just one day at a time, and it's.
And since the meetings opened up again some time back now, and you you switched from Zoom into the live meetings. How did you find that by comparison?
Oh, the live meetings are fantastic. I absolutely love my live meetings. Since I've come back. As soon as the live meetings opened, I don't think I've really stopped from doing 4 to 5 meetings a week. Yeah. I've just thrown myself into them. Anybody that tries to come out of recovery and tries to only do 1 meeting a week or one every, it's not going to work. You really need to throw yourself into them. The people and the support within the rooms has been absolutely fantastic. I've had nothing but support and love off everybody within the rooms. Like it's applying the change. All my friends now are only within AA. I can pick the phone up to somebody anytime, any day, and speak to another person, and they're there for you. They give you experience and strength and hope. And that's what you need. In recovery, especially in early days. The meetings have been a massive saviour to me. it's like, I suppose, doing service now, Dave. You know, like the Wolverley meeting with yourself. You know, I thank you for giving me the position, the option to be able to do a bit of service and chair the meeting out at Wolverley. And that again is throwing yourself, you know, further into your recovery because you know you've got to get to a meeting. You know, even if it's making the tea or coffee or, you know, doing some literature or whatever, bit of service is absolutely fantastic. But it's took me a long time to get there. You know, like say I'm 15 months clean today.
Well done, mate.
And it's took a long time to get to that stage. But I've had, you know, and that's with the help from everybody within AA and the support from my family. I've had to, like you say, I've had to apply all these changes to my life today. I've had to remove myself out of certain situations, you know, and from certain people from within my life. A lot of my friends, you know, they support me. They do support me, my old friends, you know, but they know that I can't be in certain situations with them today. It took me a year to be able to actually go out for a day with my friends to like a horse racing day. I didn't want to put myself in a situation around drink and possibly drugs, you know. Because I know if I pick up a drink, it will lead to another. So, you know, it took me like a year to get to that situation. So today, I always make sure I've got an exit strategy. If I go somewhere where there is drink or something around, my wife is very understanding and she's there with me all the way. I'll just give her a tap on the shoulder and say, "Come on, you ready to go?"
Time to go.
Yeah, and she, you know, I went to a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and the drink's starting to get heavy. You know, and then you start seeing people dipping in and out of the toilets, using. So, you know, at 7 o'clock, you know, fine, let's go home. And I'm quite happy to go home.
Yeah.
And I actually get into bed with my wife now, you know, and we actually go to sleep, you know, and I wake up the next day feeling fresh. And it's just an amazing feeling that I have today. I can't.
Do you feel obligated because of your journey? I mean, say you were talking about that wedding. Do you feel obligated, say you see some bloke or wench go, do you think, I'm going to go in there and just have a quick word with them, or do you just think they've got to find their own path? Or?
I've got to let them find their own path. There's no point There's no point in me speaking to somebody that's using while they're in that situation, because then it could put me in a bad situation, whereas I could probably end up using, you know. So it's up to them. If they want to come and talk to me, then they can come and talk to me, you know, and that's how I see it today, you know. If I do see a friend and I think he might have a drinking problem, I can only suggest, you know, but it's down to you as a person to want it, you know, you've got to want it enough. And
I think that's the key, isn't it? That's the change that, you know, because your earlier story, you just don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And you've got to get to the stage where you want it. You want to stop for you, not for your wife or your kids or your mum and dad, for you.
Yeah,
and that's always the key for me, isn't it?
Yeah, it is definitely, Dave. Yeah, and you know, like you know, within this 15 months, I've achieved so much. You know, my job, I'm 100% at my job. You know, it's took me from just being somebody that was, you know, because I do dry line and I work for myself, just having weeks work here and there, whereas they want me every day. You know, if I book a holiday now, they're like, "Oh, when you're back, you know." And it's like, wow, these people actually want me to come back and work for them, you know. Whereas before, it was like, we don't want him back, you know. Taking my kids on holidays and stuff like that, you know, had a couple of nice holidays, and spending time with my family today. And I'm present today, and I'm buzzing off life today. You know, it's fantastic to be where I am today. I've just got to remind myself, you know, that it is one day at a time, and you know, if I do pick up again, I'll be right back where I started. Yeah. You know, so and that's why I make sure I keep doing my meetings 4 or 5 times a week, do as much service as I can, you know, and just keep doing what's suggested, and that's all we can do.
So life has changed dramatically then since you got sober.
Yes, Dave. Yeah. Life is absolutely fantastic today. You know, I love myself today. You know, if you can, if you know, if that's okay to say it. I take pride in myself today. You know. I have a shower every day, if not twice a day. You know, I'm happy to brush my hair. You know, wearing nice clothes. You know, and you know, I like to do nice things today. You know, and instead, because I have a bit of spare money to be able to do that today.
Sure, yeah.
You know, whereas before, all of it was just getting taken up by Andy and drinking drugs, you know. My wife is over the moon.
So she had you back then, after all that. She had you back, bless her.
Yeah, she had me back, and she's happy because she's got it's not the old Andy she's got back. She's got a better version of my former self, you know, today, and that's how I feel. I am a better version of my former self. And life, like I say, I'm just buzzing off life today. It's absolutely great. And if I have a routine, I work by a routine today. You know, I have my main meetings that I go to weekly. So I've got the Kidderminster on a Tuesday, I've got the Wolverine on a Wednesday, Kiddie on a Thursday, and then Starport on a Sunday. Maybe Droitwich. It all depends. But you know, then I'll make sure I've got those first. That's my first things I do. You know. Every week, that's the first things I plan.
So you build your life around
I build
AA.
my life around AA. So anything else that comes in, you know, that has to come around my meetings. And it just works. It's working. I can't explain how it works. You know, just by going to your meetings and sharing your experience and your strength and your hope, listening to other shares, relating, and it just really works. You know, I can go to some meetings and sometimes not take something away. And that might be me, the way my head is that day. But then I might go to a meeting the next day and I'll come away and I'm buzzing again off somebody's share. You know, that's why I don't go out there and drink anymore. That's why, you know, and that's what we need. And you know, it's mainly from when the newcomers come into the room. You know, you get a lot from that. You know, you get a lot from a newcomer because they help you remind you of where you've come,
you were,
of where you were. Yeah. So you know, we need that today.
So you've been around 15 months now, and well done on that. And you're working hard at it, which is great to see. For anybody listening out there that's maybe going through what you did, 15 months ago, and what sort of advice would you give them about trying to stop the drinking or getting to AA? What would you say to them?
I would recommend just get yourself to a meeting, and get yourself to a meeting. And try and relate to what other people are saying, you know, and listen to the similarities in a meeting. You do one meeting. Don't just think you're going to do one meeting. Try and fulfil your week with meetings if you can, and even no matter how tired you are. You know, because there was times where I was so tired that I didn't want to go to a meeting. But to be honest, my wife pushed me to start with to a few meetings. Andy, you got to go. You got to go. You know, so I had a lot of support.
Nice job, that support from the family.
I was very lucky there, very lucky because not a lot of people get that.
No.
So you know, it's and trying to apply that change. You know, like today, I have applied a lot of change to my life. Just if you can try and apply apply a bit of change to your drinking to start with. I don't know.
I think most people that are, and I speak for myself as well, I could never imagine life without drink, because everything we do is your social life, business life was revolved around drink.
Yeah.
But, we've proved that there is an enjoyable life outside of alcohol. You don't need alcohol to have a good time. I know we've been out a few times over the last few months with people socially, for meals and stuff like that. Not a drink in sight, and we've had some fantastic nights. We've really had some fantastic nights, and you can remember where you've been, who you've been with, what you said, what you've done. How good is that?
Yeah, it's been fantastic, Dave, and like you say, and that's followed by the support that you will get in the rooms. By being able to go out and learn how to go out and enjoy a night out with people from AA. Without a drink, and that's what it's taught me as well by getting into the rooms. Being able to go out with friends or family now and not have a drink. Some people do drink around me. I do get that today, that people are drinking around me. It doesn't bother me today. I've been I went out Friday with my brother, and we went for a Chinese, and he'll sit there and have a couple of pints. To me now, I don't even think about it, because I've been able to put myself in situations through the programme with AA, and they've taught me how to go out and live my life without a drink.
And that must feel great for your brother, because he feels comfortable.
Yes.
He ain't forced to drink orange juice. Yeah. Just because of your situations. That must feel great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it must do for him. Yeah, considering he's one as well that saw me exactly what I was like when I was drinking and using. To start with, a lot of people were very weary about drinking around with the family and stuff like that. So they'd always ask me and stuff. So if it did become a problem, like you say, I'd remove myself. If I did feel if temptation did creep up, I would just have to leave.
That's the key, I think.
So, but today I only have that strength today by working a programme through AA. I would not have been able to do this on my own. And I can't thank the rooms enough for what they've done for me. And the people that within the room, the support. So it's just been absolutely fantastic. Everything that's been given to me, and it's free.
Yeah.
You go to a meeting and you're getting all this help and support, and it's free. Where'd you get that from?
And I think because you've got lived experiences.
Yeah,
it's different than if it's textbook learnt, and they go, oh well, you should be doing this, and you think, well, actually, I used to always say, well, you ain't lived it, so how can you tell me what to do, sort of thing,
I think that's the key to how it works, is that everybody in those rooms, we're not professionals, we're not counsellors, we're not professionally trained. Everybody in those rooms are alcoholics. And they've been there, done it, got the T-shirt, and some have ended up. It's ended up killing some people. Some people have ended up on the streets, lost everything they've got. Other people get out before they sort of get to the bottom of the lift shaft, really. But it's that collective. Kidderminster meetings. We've got everything there. The last week meeting, from somebody who had 24 hours sobriety to somebody with 50 years, and the guy with 50 years is still doing 3-4 meetings a week. And that's the key to it, isn't it? That's the key to it.
And do you think that's the social thing as well? You feel a strength from other. Other journeys.
Yeah, you do. You get your strength from other people's journeys, and listening to and relating to what other people are sharing with you within the rooms. And like Dave was saying, you've got people in the rooms that are like 50 years, and it's fantastic to see that. And it just shows that the programme, it works if you want to work it, but you have to work the programme, you have to work it. You can't just sit there and expect AA to come to you. You have to go to AA. You've like I say, with your meetings, you need to make sure you've got your meters in. There's literature as well. There is the big book. There's 12 steps and traditions. There's living sober books. There is stuff out there that you can read, and which I recommend reading. And we do a lot of readings in the meetings, don't we, Dave, from the books? And as soon as you start reading out that book, you relate straight away. As an alcoholic and an addict, you relate straight away to those readings, and it just resonates something, I suppose, within you, and it makes you realise, why we don't pick up a drink today.
So, fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Do we want to break for another?
You can break for another record. This one's Ed Sheeran. So, is this another wedding song?
This is another wedding song.
Oh, right, okay. Here's the bloke who earns more money than any in the world, Ed Sheeran.
I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. My 3 words have 2 meanings, but there's one thing on my mind. It's all for you. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. If you're broken, I will mend you, and I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. Now I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm gonna paint you by numbers and color you in. If things go right, we can frame it and put you on a wall. And it's so hard to say it, but I've been it before. Now I'll surrender up my heart and swap it for yours. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. Don't hold me down. I think the braces are breaking, and it's more than I can take. And it's dark in the cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. If you're broken, I will mend you, and I keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on. Now I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I will love you better now.
Black Country Extra.
Black Country Extra with AA. Dave, before you carry on with And, just give out the contact details for folks if they do need to contact you.
Yeah,
really.
sure.
So
There's a lot of info out there, Billy. Probably one of the best ways is to Google Alcoholics Anonymous UK, and that takes you to a national website that gives you everything you need to know about the disease of alcoholism and how AA works. There's a lot of information on there that would help people maybe listening to this that think they might have a problem. It might just help them to decide, hey, yes, I have, and then where to go. There is a national helpline number, which if your listeners have got a pen handy, is 0800 9177 650. That's 0800 9177 650. There is on the website, there is a chat now facility. So if people don't want to talk, they're not happy with talking, they can do it with the chat now typing. So all the help is available there. Included on that website, the where to find. So that will give you details of wherever you live. You can just key in your postcode where you want meetings, what day you want it. It'll give you the names, addresses, whether they're live meetings, whether it's Zoom meetings, whatever. So it's all there for people to get into there. So, yeah.
Great. Carry on with Andy's story then.
Andy, yeah, thanks for your honesty there, Andy. Wow. You've had 15 months now. Do you not feel, is there never an occasion where you think, I've had 15 months now without a drink? That's a long time without a drink. I'm all right now. I'm all right. I don't need to do this AA stuff anymore. I don't need these meetings.
I've to be honest, I've a couple of times I've probably slackened off my meetings, throughout the week. Maybe let's say slackened, I've maybe missed one or two meetings or whatever, and you do start to notice, a bit of old thinking can creep back in. But that you have to remember that this is an illness and it will always be inside us, and it's there to get you at any time. So I'll pick up the phone and I'll speak to another, and that's what I have to do, or get myself straight onto a meeting, But it's not the thought of having a drink. It's just some old habits can sometimes creep back in.
Yeah.
Today, if I'm feeling rubbish today, I'll take a bit of time out and I'll get home and I'll have a nap. I'll give myself a bit of time. That's a bit of TLC to myself, instead of trying to do too much, burning the candle at both ends. Work and life. We do need to take a little bit of a break out today and look after ourselves, and I suppose that's by being good to yourself. We have to try and be good to ourselves today, and that's what I do. Just take a little nap and it changes me straight away instantly. Instead of coming home being tired and grumpy. But
are there not times when you do get home tired and grumpy, you think, oh, what the hell, I can't be bothered with this lot tonight. I'm all right now. I've done 3 meetings already this week.
I don't know whether or not if it's because I've got loads of AA in me. I come home, and to be honest, the first thing I do think about still is going to a meeting.
Right.
I absolutely love the people within the rooms, because it's my friends, it's my family. That's how I feel. I thrive off a meeting.
So it's almost become a discipline. It's sort of in your DNA almost, that if I'm not feeling good, I don't feel like going to a meeting, that you're pushing yourself to do just that.
I have to remind myself to push. I have to push myself, because in the early days, especially, there were so many times that I didn't want to go to a meeting.
Sure.
And that thinking for drinking does come in. In the early days, it is there. But now the thinking for drinking, I don't think about a drink today. I don't think about a drink or think about a drug. The only thing that will happen with me lately, or say lately or today, is sometimes I can get a little bit angry. And that's why I do take myself away instead of trying to engage in an argument, because we know that when we engage in an argument, we can then use that as an excuse to go out and have a drink. I take myself away, and that's the best thing that I can do today to keep.
And you
myself...
can't afford all the flowers and the chocolates for your wife to make it up.
The amount of flowers, and as you know yourself, Dave, you've heard me in the meetings, I've had to buy my wife some flowers today because I've caused another argument, or, all the chicken nuggets on the way home. Or
He's got a direct debit with Interflora, hasn't he? Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, no, I still buy the flowers, probably not as much as she would like, but hey, but yeah, no, life is great today. And,
so the secret is, we're saying if you're an alcoholic, you can never safely drink for the rest of your life. So how do you cope with that?
Well, I cope with it one day at a time, and that is the key to the programme, one day at a time. So I'll get up in the morning and I'll say I'm not having a drink today, and I could talk to God or to my higher power, and I could ask Him to remove that thinking, if that thinking is there, or. And that's how I work. So as long as I don't have a drink that day, I know I've had a good day, and I know I can safely go to bed and sleep well that night, and then start again the next day, do the same again.
So it's just when you wake up in the morning, just for today, I'm not going to have a drink, and you don't worry about tomorrow or next week or Christmas or birthdays or nothing.
Well, Christmas, obviously I'm still experiencing, even today, new things. I'm still experiencing new things, and like I say, with the weddings that have crept up, they've been new things. So I've explained to my wife, or she knows anyway. If it gets to a certain stage where you're thinking about a drink, take yourself away. And that's all I can do. Christmas occasions, we had Christmas. They won't drink around me. They won't leave a bottle on the table, and they might have something in a glass, but they won't leave it around me. And that's just the support that I'm getting off the family. And it's I can't.
But that'll ease as the years go by. I would imagine they'll be more confident in thinking. Well, he's okay. Not okay, but he can handle it.
And that's where I'm at today. They can have a drink around me today. They can leave the bottle on the table. I'm confident today that I won't be picking up that drink, just for today. Just for today, as we say, So
And you mentioned, AA is a program. There's a 12 steps, known as a 12-step program. How have you managed to get involved in all of that?
Well, I had to find a sponsor. Yeah,
sponsor is like a mentor. Yeah,
a sponsor's a mentor. Yeah, somebody that you can ring day and night as well. Someone that you can, that will take you through everything, through within AA, the 12-step program. So, step one, admitting that you're powerless over alcohol. And, I admitted that as soon as I came into the room, I knew that I was powerless over alcohol. And then, I suppose, as you go through the steps, you start to work on yourself. You start to learn things about yourself. And it just helps you start to work things out within your recovery. And it makes it a lot easier. So I think that was the best thing I did, was going through my 12 steps with my sponsor, because since then I have had no desire to drink.
Right.
But it does take a lot of work. We have to work on our defects and stuff like that as well. Because we're only human. We do have defects. We do have defects today, and it helps you talk about those and any other issues, and you can share it with another, and it's good to get all these things off your chest instead of holding it in. It's good to talk to another about it all, and have that confidence that it stays there. It's like in the meetings. What you see here, what you hear here. Please let it stay here.
Yeah.
And it stays there within the rooms. Gossip kills. We keep.
It's an anonymous program, and we do keep it anonymous.
We keep it anonymous. And it's great having that confidence within people within the meetings.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, Andy, it seems to be working for you, mate, and well done. I know you. I remember your first time coming in, and the second time with Zoom, and you're putting a lot of effort into it, and we can all see the difference in you. So, well done, mate, and thanks for your openness and honesty. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to you.
Fascinating stories. I love sitting here. It's great. I say it's a weird way to spend an hour, but it's a great way to spend an hour. And I think that's one of the things that it's a privilege with the radio, the Extra, because it's open platforms to voices that wouldn't be heard normally.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be asked for 10 minutes on mainstream, but you wouldn't be given an hour to just tell your story, I suppose. That's the important thing, isn't it, really? So fantastic.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you for having me on.
It's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. You got a last track. It's a Fleetwood Mac track, so...
it's another wedding song.
Did you just play music at your wedding?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, good luck with everything. And I know in a fortnight we've got another of your mates, and Declan, they're going to come back. So it's a pleasure. And
Thank you, Billy.
we'll see you all in a fortnight. And here's Fleetwood Mac.
Thank you.
Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I speak a little louder, I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you Something's happening to me. My friends say I'm acting peculiarly. Come on, baby, we better make a start. You better make it soon before you break my heart. I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. Oh, come along, baby, we better make a start. You better make it soon before you break my heart.